The Rusty Report, we have broken the news, but first, tube and throat singing. Been practicing a little bit. Here we go. Trying to get more of that high overtone. The Rusty Report, we have broken the news. Well, the president is threatening to shut down the southern border for the first time in history. Not the first threat, mind you, but if he does it the first time in history, just shut it down. Can he even do that? Will he even do that? And mostly, which side do we want to be on when he does it? Joe Biden, oops, well, so he touched a lady's shoulder and smooched the back of her head. Well, it's not like he paid off a porn star he cheated on his wife with by writing checks from the Oval Office while president. Or, like, say, if he said he was a celebrity so he could grab any woman by the JJ, because that sort of thing would be completely disqualifying. But he creeped Lucy Flores out. Is that disqualifying? It has not proven to be in the past under worse conditions. What else? It will become problematic if he does it again. Yeah. Was there tongue is my question. Was there tongue? This one lady was defending him. She goes, oh, he's just Uncle Joe. No, don't do that, Uncle Joe. Don't say that now. You're really getting creepy. Creepy Uncle Joe. Hannity's already using it. Creepy Uncle Joe is kissing the wrong side of your head or inhaling your hair or smelling your hair or something and kissing it. Maybe Lucy Flores was wearing the same scent his mother wore. He's a family guy. Joe went, Shalimar. Shalimar. Oh, that shit is like $3.50 an ounce. Shalimar. Maybe there's an innocent explanation. Speaking of which, here's a tip, ladies. Spray some of that Topic hairspray on the back of your head if you have an event scheduled with Joe Biden. Then when he leans in, toenail spray. Speaking of which, Amy Klobuchar, that doesn't sound as good as Shalimar. Could you imagine wearing Klobuchar perfume? Klobuchar perfume. So you can be super bossy. Klobuchar perfume. Please work more hours for me. Run and get my dry cleaning while you're at it. Klobuchar. Anywho, Amy Klobuchar, if that's her real name, it's almost too good to be true. Klobuchar says she will make D.C. statehood a major priority. Well, D.C. statehood? We do not need to Vaticanize Washington, D.C., Klobuchar. Washington, D.C. is clearly a city, not a state. Let's give it cityhood, or does it? Or we do not want to have you suddenly recognizing Washington, D.C. as a state and giving them electoral votes to sway an election, the swing vote. And you can argue that Washington, D.C. voters are what? 95% black. And then you go, wait a minute, why is that? Washington, D.C., 95% black. And it starts raising a whole host of questions. Why is Washington, D.C. 95% black? Do we want to get into this trap? No, but here at the Rusty Report, we will not just mention it in passing. We will go, why is Washington 95% black voting? Is this kind of leftover slavery? It is certainly unique. In the United States, it is a force, an untapped force. And that is what Amy Klobuchar is getting at, but I'm not sure bossy lady Klobuchar is the black people's candidate, right? So she's treading on into territory she's got to be careful with. Statehood for Washington, D.C. It looks like a city to me. So I'd like it not to be this tiny little state, okay, like the Vatican. The closest other thing would be Hawaii to that, a tiny little state with maybe they have similar population, say Hawaii and Washington, D.C., but a state's very dissimilar. I don't like the idea of young people people flying to Washington, D.C. for their honeymoon. It's unhealthy. We got to figure this out, but let's take this nice 50 states thing and start messing with it. I mean, Puerto Rico would be right there on top of the list anyway, and that guy wants to punch him in the face. What else? The southern border is heating up because of overflow, because individual one has stopped up the pipe and committed humanitarian atrocities, now caging kids and families and children in unsanitary, unhealthy conditions. The entire handling of the situation has been in such a way to exacerbate the problem. Do you see what's going on down south? Yes, it's turning into a national emergency now due to the actions, because this manipulator-in-chief is creating the conditions for a catastrophe. And now by cutting off the border, a swift slice, ching, what will wreak utter havoc financially, mercantilely, educationally, medically dangerous to their arteries of these highways between the United States and Mexico that will overflow. The Fender factory is a prime example. You have to understand how the back and forth works properly. And you get outstanding Mexican Fender guitars coming out from Fender, right? Meanwhile, a huge success for both Fender and Mexico. Everyone loves these Mexican guitars. I have a Mexican Telecaster myself that I've hybridized beyond recognition with upgraded parts and replaced the neck with a curly burnt maple Warmoth with stainless frets, you know, and the pickups with like 62 custom shop Telecaster single coil. Replace the neck with a P90. What the hell on mine? Ha ha, such a cute, it cuts like a saw when you get dark on the neck. It gets nasty too with a P90. That's my Mexican Telecaster. Here it is. I will show you. I got this for like the butterscotch, like $400, and I replaced the neck with a more Warmoth curly maple burnt neck and some vintage Gotoh tuners and all, and I put True Oil on the neck I got an unfinished one, and I put a P90 in here, and I replaced all of the electronics, and I put some vintage, down here. This is all the best metal. Replaced all these metal parts with the best metal and everything, but here's the thing. The pickguard is Bakelite, and I want to talk about that a little bit. I wrote some down. That's how you do it. You replace that cheap plastic Mexican pickguard and indeed your USA Corona factory Fender custom shop plastic pickguard with a Bakelite pickguard for starters. That's very important. This is a Bakelite pickguard because Bakelite was to keep the radio frequencies from the electronics from bleeding into the cable and the amp and the air around you naturally. And they used it on radios too. It was the first form of what we now call plastic. So you want Bakelite for your pickguard, and it looks cool. It's like flat. For your pickguard on an electric guitar is why all of mine have them. People, this information I'm putting you now is more important than this political stuff we must have been talking about all the time. I trust you know that. The musical information and secrets such as the Telecaster practically requiring a genuine Bakelite pickguard, which is a Bakelite, a substance like a Minecraft substance that's used to make things that is resinous and analogous to what we use today in 3D printing. It is the first version of plastic, if you will, Bakelite. You can get old Bakelite stuff on Etsy. I have radios. The first version of plastic, which is made from, plastic is made from an extrusion of oil. But Bakelite, with the disadvantage over plastic of it being organic material and therefore unusable compared to plastic made of oil. Do you see, people, where I'm leading you? Or if you just follow along, it's perfectly okay. But keep your ears open and listen. Bakelite is what you want for your guitar pickguard. That's what they first used. If you have electronics underneath, so you don't have to go and put foil under your pickguard, you'll see people do, then paint the underside with thick black electrical paint. All inside the guitar, you have to paint the wood with thick, gooey, black electrolytic paint, and that is supposed to keep out the frequency crossovers. No! It is the Bakelite pickguard that performs this miracle, and then it was replaced with plastic for purposes when CBS took over Fender. That is not plastic and doesn't need... It has a more pleasing texture, Bakelite, not as slick as plastic oil. Plastic oil looks slick. That is the difference. The difference between slick oil plastic, which has the side effect to the earth of poisonous releases and infections, or use organic Bakelite. Bakelite is amazing material, was amazing material. They were using it. I'm bringing it back on Shark Tank. Bakelite, no oil necessary, kind of like plastic, but more cozy and less slick, that's all. But it keeps out the radio frequencies from bleeding. Literally, the only difference is the slick mirrors shine provided by oil plastic. Okay, do you see that now? Bakelite does not have the shine of plastic, which comes from that iridescence that you see, the sheen of the oil when it all spills. That is why we are polluted. It is because plastic can be made shiny. It is always easier to sell shiny things. That is why humans are in the problem they are now, selling shiny plastic things or even giving them away to prove a point. This is just the Rusty T talking to you, my beautiful minions, on this manic Tuesday, March Madness, April Fools after daylight savings time machine of fun we call life. So enjoy your part in it and see what you can do with it. I'll see you out there. Hopefully, then if we end up on the same side, we will see each other. Okay, I'm out. I love you all, and that is the truth. And remember, never trust nobody. So that's the Mexican guitar Fender. And if you shut down the border, we won't be able to get them. What else? George Clooney and Elton John are fighting a law in Brunei that... Okay, wait. First off, George Clooney and Elton John are together on an anti-gay law. So are they together? George Clooney and Elton John, it's not clear, but Brunei has a new law where you can stone people who are gay or act gay. And both George Clooney and Elton John are telling Brunei they won't do concerts or movies in Brunei. And okay, well, what does Cher think? Should we? Rusty T will not do a show in Brunei to capitalize. I mean, charitabilize the opportunity to bring all this wonder together in one place or whatever the hell we're doing. Not in Brunei. Stoning gay people. Well, yeah, that is a bad law, Elton John and George Clooney. Let's write a song. Here, I'll do it for you right now. Brunei, stop bashing gays. I'll put it on piano later. Brunei, it's okay, Brunei. I see your brown eye, Brunei. I see your ice big... What is that? Your sauce? Okay, I'll work on it. It's a country that just needs love. Brunei needs a song, and we'll keep working on it here at the Rusty Report.